A place where animation meets faith. You're listening to the Alleluia Podcast.
And you're locked into another episode of the Alleluia Podcast. My name is Josh, and we are glad to be back with you once again this week, making that intersection between faith and spirituality and animation. Apparently, we don't want to forget about that. And we were away from y'all last week. We hope you enjoyed the re-release of Arthur Christmas that we did for one of our past Christmas series episodes. But we are back with a new, yet a little bit shorter episode. And if you're watching this on YouTube, or listening rather, this is a audio-only episode. But we're still going to deliver that great content you've come to know and love. And how could I ever forget my lovely wife, Rebecca, who is all snuggled up in a blanket.
Snuggly as a bug in a rug. I feel like that, actually, because I am wrapped up in a blanket.
And it has been a busy day. We've been to the vet with our new pup. We were in the kitchen basically all day today, half the day, really.
It was a long time. Yeah, we made steak and ale pie for dinner. That was delicious. And then we also filmed our Japanese Christmas cake video, which was really exciting.
And that will be coming out. Well, if you're listening to this on the day this episode comes out, which is Friday the 20th, you just have to wait 24 hours for the cooking video, or more so the baking video that comes out Saturday the 21st. But if you're listening to this after the 20th, this episode and also the Christmas cake episode is already available to view. So even though we are not on camera for the regular episode this week, don't worry, Rebecca and her lovely self is on camera for that Japanese cake video. And the Japanese Christmas cake, if you have ever seen an anime series or they have a Christmas episode, odds are you have seen that cake. And I will say it is very light, but it is delicious.
I feel like I could have eaten like 5 pieces of that cake and would have been just fine. Well, because it wasn't too sweet.
Right.
And it wasn't heavy. It was so good. I want that cake for everything now.
Well, it's kind of like mini muffins. They're so small, they can't possibly be that much.
Danger.
Danger. Well, as we said, this is part of our Christmas series. This is actually our last episode of 2024. And so we're ending it with a Christmas movie. And we don't want to get hung up on this Christmas because we're going to be talking about that Christmas.
Oh, that's a good segue there, Josh.
And there's been a lot of, new Christmas movies that we watched, mainly Hallmark. I know we watched Hot Frosty on
that one
Netflix.
Was good.
Yeah, that's really good. Hey, anything I am convinced with Lacey Chabert is good. We also watched like a mystery treasure hunt one.
Oh, that one was good. Again, with Lacey Chabert.
Yeah.
I think it was a Christmas Quest or something.
Yeah.
And
we watched a 90s Christmas, which has time travel that I'm always a fan of.
Yeah, that one was good.
Hadn't really watched any animated new Christmas movies, or really any animated Christmas movies up until watching that Christmas. I did show Rebecca Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. How did you like that?
It was an experience that I'm not sure I want to repeat.
Well, a lot of people have made it a staple.
Ugh. Okay, but that one song, there were 2 songs that were just horrible. They were just horrible.
Oh, Grandpa's gonna sue the pants off the Santa.
Yes, that one. And then there's another one.
Oh, is it when they're talking about Grandma's killer fruitcake?
Yes, the fruitcake, the killer fruitcake. Oh my, that was outrageous. Just simply outrageous.
If you haven't seen that, I believe you can get it somewhere as a hard copy on DVD, but we found it on YouTube.
We had to watch it in different parts, though.
Yeah,
the old school YouTube way.
Old school YouTube way. You want to watch the Yu-Gi-Oh episodes, and you could only upload in 5-minute increments. So we watched the new Netflix movie called That Christmas, and honestly, really enjoyed it. I didn't know what I was going to think about it at first, but I was pleasantly surprised at how well the storyline was.
Yeah, it was pretty deep. It dove pretty deep into quite a few characters actually, and did a really good job of telling the story
Yeah, absolutely.
of those characters and kind of what they were dealing with.
Mm-hmm, certainly. Speaking of story, why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit of a synopsis for That Christmas?
Yeah, That Christmas follows several families in the town of Wellington by the Sea. Is that right?
Wellington on Sea.
On Sea.
But it's a coastal town, so either way.
It is a coastal town. There's a lighthouse with Bill the lighthouse guy.
Yeah,
is that right?
You're right, yeah.
Yeah, Bill the lighthouse guy. And then we've also got, who's a new kid? Ben?
No, Danny.
Danny. I knew that. Danny is the new kid that they just moved into town. And so he's dealing with not having any friends and being the new kid. Then we've got Charlie and Sam, who are twins, and they've got some twin issues going on. One of them's naughty, one of them's nice. What's going to happen when Santa comes? And then there's another group of individuals. There's 3 families and like 6 kids, I think, that they are all left at home with one of the older siblings, Bernadette, and she's in charge while the parents are away at a wedding, I think, or something. And so she's dealing with sort of coming of age, being in charge. What's that going to be like? And this all kind of culminates upon Christmas Eve and when Santa comes to visit. And Santa brings gifts that help them along their journeys. And there's a huge blizzard and shenanigans ensue, of course.
And as I said, this isn't just for kids. I think many families would enjoy this together. If they're big kids like us, you would definitely enjoy it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there's even a song in there by Ed Sheeran called Under the Tree.
Under the Tree, yeah.
Oh, shoot. Wait. Oh,
I think that's right.
Yep. Under the Tree. It's a cute little song. I like it a lot. But there's definitely several themes in the movie that really stand out from a Christian perspective and just in general. But one of them is about family and forgiveness. There are a lot of moments of reconciliation and forgiveness between the characters. Of course, this comes closer to the end of the movie, but I think each of our 3 main storylines really get sort of this forgiveness and reconciliation outcome, which is really wonderful to see their journey to come to their forgiveness. I think Charlie and Sam are able to come together in the end and resolve what's going on with them. And then Danny and his mom and dad, both of them, they're able to come to some reconciliation. And Danny is really dealing with his mom having to work a lot.
Yeah, and his dad not showing up when he was expecting him to.
Yeah, his parents are divorced and his dad ends up not showing up like a lot, actually. And that's really hard. And then with the parents that go to the wedding, they end up getting stuck out in the blizzard. And that's in like the trailer. So I don't think we're giving anything away there. No. But the kids end up being alone.
And Bernadette, as you were saying, the older kid in the crowd, like, has this kind of age. She's now the leader and kind of has to make Christmas happen in the absence of the parents.
Yep. Yeah. And how does she deal with that? You know, there's a lot of obviously teaching in the Bible about family and unity and forgiveness. My goodness, there are so many verses about forgiveness. But just to pull out a couple of verses, one of them is Colossians 3:13, which says, "Bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against someone, forgive as the Lord forgave you." I think that's a really important reminder to forgive each other and to work with each other. And then you want to read the other one?
Absolutely. And this comes from Ephesians 4:32. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you. And we've talked about quite a few times about harboring unforgiveness, because you think that by not forgiving somebody that you're hurting them, in reality, the person that you're hurting is yourself, because that unforgiveness it's not gonna just be a chip on your shoulder. It's gonna turn into a boulder on your back.
Yeah, that's really true. It ends up hurting you so much more. But I think the verse that you read in Ephesians, talking about be kind and compassionate to one another,
Correct.
I think that's really important, particularly for our characters. And particularly in Danny's case, being kind and compassionate to one another. I mean, he's dealing with being the new kid at school, and his mom is always having to be gone. And that just sucks, man. That is a really hard place in life to be. And Danny has this moment during the movie where he ends up going to a neighbor's house, and the neighbor was like, I know you're having a hard time, Danny, but think about your mom. She's having a really hard time too, maybe even harder. And it really opens up Danny's perspective in life and in that moment. And he's able to go from woe is me, everything sucks, to, gosh, how can I make my mom's life better? And how can I show her that I love her? And he really embodies Ephesians 4:32 here, I think, in the movie. And I just love that. I think his story was one of my favorite stories that we followed in the movie.
But isn't that the reality of most movies? Like the new kid is the underdog and winds up being the hero in the end.
Yeah, it was great. Well, he got to show everybody that he cared and that he was someone interesting, and he just needed a little push. And I think it's so easy for us, particularly when we're like the new kid, to think that nobody really wants to get to know us.
Right.
Nobody really cares to get to know us. And that's just not necessarily true.
So forgiveness and reconciliation, certainly a part of, honestly, all three stories, as we've said a few minutes ago. So we're going to skip on down to one of the next main themes.
I would say another main theme that we saw in the movie was really just this idea of generosity and sacrifice. There, of course, around Christmas, there's giving gifts and acts of service and generally being selfless.
And that's really conveyed in the story between Sam and Charlie.
Yeah, the selflessness, absolutely. As we learn throughout the story, Sam is worried about her sister, Charlie, and that Charlie has been doing all of these sort of like mischievous things. She stepped on someone's robe during the play at school, causing a little bit of uproar. And then she does several other things that were mischievous. And Sam's worried that Charlie isn't going to be visited by Santa. And she's trying really hard to get Charlie to be good, basically. And what she doesn't realize is that her sister loves her so much, and that she actually has a really good reason for doing all of those mischievous things. It's actually quite selfless, actually. The things that she does are actually to help her sister. She's got, different missions that she's trying to accomplish for her sister. And that's just beautiful that like Charlie's willing to do anything, even if it means not getting presents from Santa. Her sister is the top priority. And that's just really sweet.
And you having two younger sisters yourself, you can definitely relate.
For sure. I can.
Yeah, I love Charlie and Sam's like dynamic, because Sam is unaware of why Charlie is doing all the things that she's doing. And such a good sister that Sam is, that she wants the best for Charlie and thinks that I just want her to be a good person, but she doesn't realize that Charlie is good in her own right. Just
Exactly.
misunderstood.
You know, that's very much in the spirit of Christmas, of giving. And of course, God gave humanity the ultimate gift in Jesus Christ, which is the reason for the season, if you will. And that's really important to remember.
Most definitely.
And this focus on gifts is that it helps us to remember how much of a gift Jesus is in our lives, and to remember the generosity that we can then bestow upon others in our lives and show to others in our lives. And I think it's really beautiful, even though it wasn't a holiday that was celebrated by the early Christians. It's really special to be able to celebrate now. And I really love the verse in Acts, and it's Acts 20:35, that says, "It is more blessed to give than to receive." And how true that is.
Yeah,
We
I know
find
I
that.
get great pleasure in giving you gifts, giving family gifts. There's a certain feeling that you get, even when you don't get a gift in return.
Absolutely. It's really fun to be able to think about someone and be like, oh my gosh, they're going to love this. I am so excited to give this to them because they're going to think it's so cool, whatever that thing is. And that is just so much fun to be able to do. And I think it can be hard to give gifts without expecting anything in return. We can say that, but then there are a lot of times if we don't get something from someone when we expected to,
and there is that disappointment.
It's a little like, oh, I mean, I guess I did expect to get a gift when nobody should expect anything from anyone as far as getting a gift.
Right.
But now I think gift giving has probably gone out of control.
It can be a lot.
Very consumer. Yeah. But the spirit of giving.
Yeah, the spirit of giving. If you don't get all tied up in consumerism to buy just to buy, actually getting something that's from the heart that you put thought behind, that's really the spirit of giving what goes into it. And
there's one other main theme, I think, throughout the story, and that is hope and redemption. I think we find that really in the story of the three kids that are left at home and they have
Is it 3? I thought it was 4.
Oh, sorry. The 3 families. There's I think one has 1 kid. There's 2, 4, I think 5. There's 5 kids in total, I think.
Yeah, because Bernadette has her sister
Bernadette
Eve.
has a little sister. Yeah. But they're left at home, and the mom, before she leaves, is telling Bernadette, all right, now you are in charge. You got to do all of the regular Christmas traditions with the family, keep them alive. And once she leaves, Bernadette's like, I don't like our Christmas traditions. Can we just do new Christmas traditions? She realizes at some point that I can do what I want.
Exactly.
You know what?
I will say, when they're remembering their old Christmas traditions, it's and watch the classic Christmas movie. Did you pick up on what movie they were watching?
Yeah, it's Love Actually.
Okay, all right. Love Actually is all around.
Not necessarily one that I would watch with children.
Yeah, it's not for. Well,
it's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not for children, but at a certain age.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember that. I know it was one of those that's there were a couple of them that came out right at the same time, and I get them mixed up. I think I usually get it mixed up with He Just Doesn't Like You or something.
He's just not that into you.
He's just not that into you. That one and Love Actually, I think I get mixed up quite a bit. But anyway, that's beside the point. So yeah, it was Love Actually. And the kids end up doing their own thing, which is really fun. Well, towards the end, they're playing hide and seek, and Evie, the littlest one, I don't know how old she is, but she's little. She ends up getting lost. She disappears and they can't find her. And so they have lost hope. And the parents end up coming back. Everyone in the whole town is looking for this little girl. And it's seeming like they're never going to find her. But then as everybody gets involved, they find hope. They have hope again that they're going to find her, and they send out the search party. And Bernadette, of course, feels like she has completely failed her parents by letting her little sister go missing and not keeping up with her. Completely lost faith in herself. And she just, what a terrible situation to be in as a kid. And in the end, of course, happy ending, they end up finding her, and she is restored, redeemed, if you will. No, what's our word? Reconciled? Redemption. Yes. She finds hope and redemption again in herself, and her mom believes in her again, and all of this, her parents in general. But it was just this really beautiful story, I thought. It's very much reminiscent of the nativity story, just that we have a hope in Jesus, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, or in the case of our characters here, they have a lighthouse that points the way, that like literally is showing people the way of how to get into town, how to find Evie. There's just like so much symbolism, I think, about this lighthouse in the story in general. It shows Santa where to go when he comes to visit, and helps point the way to different things, which gives hope that there is light in the darkness.
And if we want to communicate anything about this time of year, is that this is a season of hope, because
Absolutely.
hope came down personified, literally. That's what we want to offer each and every week: encouragement, joy, and what better time to do this than Christmas. And this reminds us of Romans 15:13. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. And honestly,
Amen.
I could not think of a better verse to end an episode on when our last topic was hope, the season of hope. Well, as we said in the beginning of the episode, this is our last episode for 2024. We've had a great year, a lot of great guests. We really want to thank all of you who have followed us on YouTube, subscribed to the podcast, followed us on our different socials. We want to keep that engagement going into 2025. With that being said, we are taking our annual holiday break starting next week. We'll still post on our stories here and there, but we will be off for a couple weeks. We will return on January 10th of 2025. But until next time, keep the sailor shiny, stay holy, my friends, and have a very Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.